My name is Malachi Mills.
And I'm Logan Simmons.
No, we're the Band Loula.
And how did you guys meet? Give us the short and sweet.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing is that we met. There's a long history to it. We met when we were 14. We were kids, and we met at a cancer benefit, and just continued to be friends through school and church. And we went to different schools, but our friends, we had a bunch of mutual friends, and we sang during church together, and
Yeah, it's funny because the first time that we ever met, he was singing karaoke, and I had just got done being Justin Bieber in a skit. So we were entertaining when we first met each other.
I was going to say, did you both already find music by 14? But entertainment, yes.
Yeah, entertainment of sorts. Jeggings with a hoodie on for me, and trying to be Justin Bieber. And he was actually killing it at the karaoke song he was doing. So that's the first day we met.
I love how you that's a prominent.
Yeah, never forget.
yeah, it's like a staple memory for sure.
Amazing. So when did you two decide, let's make music together? Let's do this thing together? Was it pretty early?
It actually wasn't, funny enough. We had been friends for quite a few years before we discovered that we could really sing together. We had sang at church some, and we knew that we had a kind of family harmony type of vibe, but we had never really tried to sing a song that benefited us and our voices and really sat down and say what's best for Logan and Malachi. We were just kind of singing together. And once we did that and we started making YouTube videos together, that's when we found the magic.
Your voices match really, really well. And you alluded to that of almost like family ties, like harmonies. When you discovered that you two sounded that way together, what was that like? Was there a song you were singing, or what was that moment of spark?
Yeah. We did a series of YouTube videos, just kind of naturally. It just kind of happened. There was one day where I reached out to Logan and just asked her if she wanted to sing a YouTube cover together, just on my personal YouTube channel that I was just doing. And we kind of kicked around some songs and landed on Billie Jean. And we did that, and it was just a total creative experiment. We were singing, on microphones, and something that we hadn't done together is record a lot. And so we were learning how to cut our teeth recording, and did that cover of Billie Jean, and it just had that spontaneous chemistry, that you can't really teach or learn. And once we did that again, probably 3 different other songs over a period of probably 2 years. And we just found a trend. People kept asking us to come and play gigs and everything. And it got to kind of a breaking point where we were like, oh, maybe we should just do this thing, make our own music. Yeah. So we started writing songs and came up with a band name. Just went for it.
I'm from a small town in small town in Georgia called Loula, Georgia. Basically, it's not even a dot on the map. I feel like it's like a half dot. The dot on the map is Gainesville, Georgia, which is the bigger town that we're both from, Hall County, North Georgia, kind of foothill of the mountains. Loula is off on its own, and the only thing there is like an elementary school, train tracks, and a Dollar General. He actually came up with the Band Loula just to pay some respects to our roots, and we sing a lot of songs and write a lot of songs about home and about our upbringing, so it made a lot of sense. But he brought it up first, and I was like, perfect. It was the first thing we kicked around, which is not normal for me to usually. I overthink, so it's not normal for me to say yes to the first thing, but it just felt right off the bat.
What's it like, 2 small town Georgia kids opening for Dierks Bentley this summer?
In a different country.
Yeah,
It's unreal.
It's unreal. We're still getting used to it. This is our 7th show on the tour, and
Yeah, come on.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we're still getting used to it, but it's sometimes it's overwhelming, but I think when you're in this industry, you have to kind of just keep the blinders on and stay focused, or else you'll get distracted by all the things and kind of get overwhelmed. But we've just been trying to remember to look up for a minute and take it in the process of it, but also stay focused. And but it's been awesome. Dream come true. Getting this tour was one of our definitely milestones in our career, I would say, for sure.
Been to this many places already, like you 7 show dates. You've been to Canada a little bit before. Do you guys imagine just like bouncing all over the country, let alone the continent? Or like,
We got our feet wet with El King, but that wasn't coast to coast. This one's coast to coast, and it's all over, and it's a little more consistent. We played how many shows? About 25 shows with El King.
We did, yeah. And in between, we were doing a few shows with a couple other artists that, like, we did a couple with Paul Cawthon that were out west, but it was just a couple dates. It was just 2, and then we did one with Ashley McBryde in Idaho. So we feel like we tasted it, but I don't think we ever expected to be doing this for 34 dates. It's a huge tour. The teams are so big, and the venues are so big, and the operation is huge, and they still treat you like family. I think it's easy for people not to know exactly what to expect when literally one of your music heroes, somebody you grew up listening to on the radio, is asking you to come on the road with him. You're not sure what to expect out of them, but he's just the best in the world. So I think it feels very unreal every day going from just playing in my dad's pasture in Georgia to this.
you call it swamp country, or sorry,
Swamp grass, yeah.
Swamp grass.
you call it swamp grass.
Yeah.
And when he first read that to me, I was like, no, that's got to be wrong. Double check that.
She went, you pronounced it wrong. What, that can't be it.
But now that I'm thinking about it, like I was listening to your music the last few days, and I was like, this actually is probably something that aligns well with like Dierks and his vibes too. Like he must love it. And where did the swamp grass thing come from?
I think it came from our roots, like we grew up listening to gospel music. We grew up in church, singing in church, and gospel music is at its core very bluesy. And also we're in the southern tip of Appalachia, and so there's a lot of bluegrass. And so we mixed the soulful influences of the bluesy and the bluegrass, and that's how we came up with swamp grass. And we've also recorded a lot of our songs and learned a lot in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is kind of the epitome of swampy. When everybody's like, make it swampy, make it more Muscle Shoals, That's kind of the sauce there. And we just worked that term up to help give people a mental image of what we do.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it does the trick. Mind you, I listened to the music before I heard swamp grass, but once I did confirm that he wasn't joking or like there was something wrong, I was like, okay, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it's different.
I love it. It's something, it's like one thing. Do you live in Nashville now?
Yes.
And you can go down every bar, every venue, and somebody's playing something that you've already heard probably. So when you can have this sound that's like so cool and rootsy, and also be able to give it something that people can like think about, like swamp grass is now stuck in my head, obviously. Like that's a big thing to be doing because you don't want to like fall into that.
Yeah.
I hear both of like those influences too. Like I also grew up in church and all that and listening to Southern gospel, even up here. And listening to music almost does have a sense of home to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly how we feel. Is like everything that we create, we want it to sound like home and we want it to sound familiar. And I think swamp grass, kind of does the trick with that. It brings us back to our roots. And hopefully we need to act on some merch or something that just says swamp grass across it because we hadn't done that yet. That's the next step. Yeah.
Okay, so your new single is called Can't Please 'Em All. Tell us about your new single. Tell us about like the music leading up to this, the sound you've created, the vibes you've got going.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited about this one because it's a little bit it picks up the pace a little bit from what we've released so far. We've released a lot of kind of moody ballads or kind of more gothic side, southern gothic side, and this one's fun because it still is very sentimental to us because the message is very in line with what we stand for, which is kind of be yourself, no judgment, all those things. If you listen to the song, it's all in it. You're either too hot or too cold, too Georgia for California, too Texas for Tennessee. It's all, those are some of the lyrics. But we wanted to do something that was in line with what we stand for and say, but also show a different side musically of what we've done, which we believe that song definitely accomplished that.
It's like a little more It's a little more summery, a little more like it's lighthearted. It definitely has a big meaning to it, but it's a little more lighthearted. And you know, just coming out of Running Off the Angels, we felt like it was the perfect thing to ramp up into summer tour, and like he said, show a different side of us. And the songs that we'll be releasing next are the same type of flavor. It's like it's us, and it's swampy, and it's all those things, kind of Southern rock, kind of Appalachian, but you know, through and through, it's us. And I think it's important to show different sides and not just be that kind of gothic, moody, like wearing all black band, because that's just not us. Like,
We have more sides to us than that.
yeah, we have a little bit more to offer. So
I'd like to call you guys like genre fluid, where like, you know, you can bend the genre into so many ways. It's not just country, it's not just bluegrass, and like all the different things, like influences that you're talking about, you can bring into your own music is like.
We usually just like to say that we try to identify with like rock and, you know, it's a little more rock and roll than like we are country, are in the country mix, and we believe that like we're proud country artists, but at the end of the day, we think that we lend ourselves a little more rock and roll, maybe comparable to how when you hear Chris Stapleton, you know, he's a little more rock and roll, you know, he's a little more bluesy, not exactly down the middle country. We're kind of our own version of that, we believe, in a little more of a swampgrass way. Yeah.
Okay, word on the street is you got a standing ovation while you made your Opry debut last week.
yeah,
True or false?
true,
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, emotional is definitely one of the words. I didn't know how exactly I would react. Malachi's usually the most level-headed out of the two of us, so if it's an emotionally charged situation, he's usually the least emotionally charged. And I had been holding it together pretty well, and like we both were like laughing, cutting up, having a great time. And then we went to rehearse on stage, and literally I got close to the circle and just lost it. And it was like very unexplainable, because I was fine. Like I was actually kind of questioning why I wasn't more emotional the whole day. But I was just, I guess.
Did you?
Yeah, it just, I mean, one step toward it, and I was like messy. But it was a wonderful, wonderful day, surrounded by a lot of people who love us. Our whole team was there, all of our family and friends. It was definitely like we felt the love, and it was special. Like it's just kind of, you just kind of can't explain it, you know?
Yeah. A friend of mine is going back to the Opry. He did the speaker next week, I can't remember. And she was like, you'll cry every time. It'll take a long time to wear off.
Yeah.
It's something to look forward to every.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Last question, really important one. We promote Canadian country music. I'm not going to ask you who your favorite Canadian singer or artist is, but who's your favorite Canadian?
Favorite Canadian?
Big deal.
Our manager, Christina, and our fiddle player, Diana.
Yeah, we have our fiddle player is Toronto's own Diana Davichuk, and she's actually a fiddle champion here in Canada. Just graduated from USC.
Mm-hmm.
Do you tell Front Porch folks and fans where they can find you on the internet?
We are the Band Loula on everything.
Yeah. All right.
At the Band Loula.
I was like, right now we're in Toronto. We're going to Chicago next.
The trick is it's spelled. Everybody spells it differently when they come up and ask how to spell it. It is Loula. We're the Band Loula, and we are that on everything. We're everywhere you can find music
The Band Loula.
or social media.